Okay, so yeah, why is the mechanism all clean now? It's very simple. I recorded the disassembly and I just didn't like the look of the video. My hands were in the way. The sound wasn't working, so yeah, I'm doing it again. It'll be nice to work on a clean machine. I've never done that before. So here we go. First thing you got to do is take that pulley off right there, and that pulley has got set screws. I'm going to try to keep my hands out of the way this time. So there's two set screws, one here, and by the way, these have already been loosened, so yours will be very tight. Just take your time. If you have to, use a little WD-40 and soak it and wait. So there you go. There's the pulley. And then take this cover off of here. Just our 1/4" screws again. Okay, cover's off. And the next thing is to take off this little, I think it's a heat cover because the lamp shines in through there. Anyway, it's a protective thing of some kind. Protective thing. Good one, Mike. Now, if you look at this, it's curved. And it curves out because otherwise it'll interfere with the shutter. So when you put it back, make sure that curve is going out. Okay, moving right along. We're going to go ahead and take this nut off the camshaft. You can see that nut right there. And you're probably gonna, normally I'd take a screwdriver and put it in through one of these holes in the shutter. This is the shutter, because sometimes it's very tight and you need to get some leverage. So now, taking that off, I want you to pay attention that there's a little boss on that screw, on that nut, and that boss goes in towards the shutter. Next is this little piece here, which is a counterweight. It has a little nib on it that goes in through the shutter, so make sure you get it back on that way. Then the shutter comes off. Pretty self-explanatory, but it can go on backwards, but don't do that. Anyway, it goes in this way, not that way. And then next is this little, I'm not sure why they put this on here. It's some kind of a vibration dampener or whatever. That goes on there, and that hole will go down there. It'll all become obvious to you. So now, what we have here, just to review what we're looking at, is these are the shutter arms, okay? They ride on this brass cam here and there. They've got surfaces where they ride on it as the camshaft turns, okay? So, and the camshaft pushes the shutter arms back and forth, and that's what grabs the film down here with the shutter teeth. That's how it works in a nutshell. Sideways maybe, okay? Wiggle that out, and it's keeping those shutter arms apart, so they're going to fall in when you take this out, okay? And it can only go in one way because there is a notch here that fits into a notch on this in and out cam, okay? All right, so at this point we need to get the arms out of here. I back off. There's an adjustment up here for the tightness of these arms against the cam, but it also keeps, there's a ball and socket on each side, and they're kind of hard to get out of there because they're very close together. You can see they barely move. Okay, so the shutter arms are trapped by a ball and socket over here and an adjustment on this end. Okay, I used to always struggle and just try to force those out of there. Really, this is the adjustment for the shuttle pull down arms. Put a 3/32 Allen wrench in there. Yeah, it's not a spline, it's an Allen wrench. And pull that down about a half a turn. You'll see it loosens the shuttle ball and socket up all to heck. Just remember that you loosen that and retighten it at the end, but that's not a big deal. So yeah, you'll need a 3/32 Allen wrench. So next you can take this spring off. I gotta get sideways, I think. There's a spring with a felt wick in here that you saturate with the oil. It's what lubricates that brass cam. So get a hold of it. Maybe we can get a hold of it on this end. And see, it hooks in there. Take that off. And here, this wick also needs to be saturated with oil when it goes back together. Yeah, you don't need any grease on this stuff. It was designed to be lubricated by light machine oil. So now that we loosened up that ball and socket, you can ease this out of here. Okay. Move my hand out of the way again, and can you see I can lift these arms out of this slot. There's a keeper here, and they will lift right up out of there. Okay. And we're getting right along there. By the way, something fell out that is uber important to the machine. These are the shuttle teeth. This was between those arms down here. When it goes back together, they have to be in there, okay? And they only go in one way to fit the slot. They go in that way, okay? You'll see it won't fit any other way. And they ride right in a slot here. Okay. So now you need a flathead screwdriver because we're going to take this assembly out, the shuttle arm keeper, whatever they call this thing. And there's a screw on each side. We're going to take that out as a unit with this in and out cam because that in and out cam is currently trapped behind a little follower there. So that when the machine turns over, if I can hold this in, you can see it goes in and out. See? Hopefully you can see that. Doesn't matter. Okay, so take these two screws, one out of each side. And like I said, I already had this apart, so these screws are all loose. Yours won't be. You might have to put a little effort on them. Okay. This screwdriver is magnetized, so. Alright, go over to the other side and get that one out. And now, this is the in and out cam I have my thumb on, and this is the shuttle keeper. Pull that all out as an assembly, okay? The reason I say that is now that it's out of there, you can see that the follower is right down at the tip of my thumb, okay? And that's the way it's going to go back in. You're going to put that in and then put this back in. So now we've got all the shuttle parts off of there, and now it's time to get the gear out. And if you look back in here, there's a snap ring, okay? We're going to get the larger of our two snap ring pliers. These were the S&K 7634s, but basically a little bit larger snap ring plier. And reach in there, turn this so the camera sees this, and get a hold of that snap ring. Make sure your pliers are set for internal, because you want to compress the ring, not expand it. You'll never get it out the other way. These have got a knurled nut in them. You can take that knurled nut off and make these into external pliers, but right now they're internal pliers. Internal snap ring pliers. So get them seated in that snap ring. Put your thumb over the edge of that snap ring so it doesn't fly out and catch you in the eye or something. So compress it and pull it out, and there it is right there. That's the snap ring that holds the camshaft in. So now what we're going to do is get the gear out, right? To do that, we take this shaft out that way. All right. What a lot of people do, it's not really necessary, is in an effort to put the gears back exactly where they came out, they will take a Sharpie and draw a line between the upper and lower sprockets, kind of like this. It just really is arbitrary where you put it. The idea is that if you take this thing apart, you know, if you take it apart, you can line those up and your timing will be back. It might be a rough approximation, but truly, you're going to have to time these sprockets properly. Those lines won't save you. And you don't have to take this bottom sprocket off, but I'll do it, and it does make it slightly easier. There's 2 set screws. And this is the larger of the 2 splines, the 9966. And because this is all loosened up, it'll come off of there. You have to kind of wiggle it. Okay. All right. Again, here's a place where you might consider soaking when it's together. Some WD-40 or Blaster even works better. So, you know, it's been together 50 years. It might not want to come apart easily. Anyway, that gives you some more access. This is the loop restore arm. And that's another reason to take that lower sprocket off. You can see how that arm moves. So, in order, we need to loosen the loop restorer set screw right there. And that loosens the loop restore cam on the shaft, and then we're going to take and loosen the set screws on the gear, and then it should come out. Again, this one's all loosened up and clean. You may have to work a little harder than what I'm showing you. Okay, so we need to take that set screw out of the cam loop restore. I've got my 9964 spline in here, and I'm going to do this left-handed, which I hate. Okay, and then just crack it loose. There's only one set screw on the loop restore cam, and now you see it'll move. All right, switch splines. Please, I'm only going to say this once. Don't use Allen wrenches on here. If you get one to fit in these set screws, you'll destroy the set screw. Now I'm going to loosen one set screw in the gear, turn it around 180 degrees. This is the 9966 spline. Loosen that one. Don't be afraid to back them out a little ways, although it doesn't have to be very far. And then you'll see the gear now will move on that shaft. Now we're ready to take the shaft out. So let's go ahead and with 2 fingers hold the loop restore cam and in the gear and start pulling the shaft and twisting it, okay? And now you can see it's coming out. That bearing should come with the shaft. It stays on the shaft. Just keep pulling. Keep pulling. And there you go. The shaft is out. And the gear is out. And there's the loop restore cam. Remember, the loop restore cam, when it goes back together, will have the flat up against the gear more or less. But that flat will be towards the gear. And there it is. We've done it. There's our cracked gear. This one's one of the better ones. This machine probably would run for a while. And that's how you get the gear out of there. Now what you want to do is, yours is going to be all greasy in here. These gears, everything will be greasy. So take it outside in the yard and use some mineral spirits. I say in the yard because there's fumes, right? And get a small brush and a small cup of mineral spirits and just brush this all out, loosen all the grease off of there. Get the grease all off of there. There'll be a lot of grease over here and a lot of grease on this cam follower. You know, get the grease off everything so you can put it back together. We will lubricate it again when we put it back together, but that's it in a nutshell. That's how the gear comes out of the mechanism.